Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to another bike review. This one coming from a company that we have done in the past on two different occasions. However, it came from somebody other than the company direct. So let's go into the intro. We'll talk about this.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. What I'm talking about is I was contacted by GEEKBUYING, and GEEKBUYING is a whole different way of purchasing electric scooters, bikes, a lot of stuff. It's kind of like an eBay thing. It's kind of like an Amazon thing, more importantly, because it's not really a bidding war. But I'm going to tell you that they can get you pretty much anything that you want as far as e-bike related from almost any brand. So some of the bigger brands like ENGWE is pretty prevalent on their site. And this is something that we wanted to try out all because of a bike that we did in the past. The bike we did in the past was a Vantrue bike. If you haven't checked out that video, you can go back and look at that if you'd like. And we talked about all the strong points of that bike and it being more like a bike. I'm going to tell you that some of these bikes that we have are so big and they're very comfortable and they're very sturdy, but there's a lot of people that really like the bike riding experience they currently have on their mountain bike or their 10-speed or their 3-speed or their beach cruiser because it's kind of simple. There's not a lot to it. However, they want a little bit more, of a ride quality, which this one has front shocks, and they also want it to be kind of small and nimble and about the size of what they have, but want some power. They want it to power. Now, other than doing a conversion, a flat out electric conversion on the bike that they currently own, which if you're not mechanically handy, it could be a little tedious. Or if you pay somebody to do it, you might get into the kind of money that you might be able to get into something like this or something that's more introductory level on an e-bike scale. That's what this kind of fits. So you're not going to see some big monstrous bike come out of here. It is a taller bike. It is a larger than a box store woman's bike would be at Walmart. However, it's not something that's this big beach cruiser that, weighs 90 pounds. This thing only weighs like 57 pounds. So you're talking 30 pounds less than some of the bikes that we've just recently reviewed. That's a big deal to a lot of people. This will make it to where you can move it around a little bit easier. And I'm not talking about loading it and unloading it on your vehicle, but I am talking about maneuvering it as you're just trying to get it out of your garage and down the street and even just steering it. I mean, these bigger bikes, once they get rolling, it's a little bit harder for them to do a quick maneuver. So the lighter the bike, the lighter the feel as you drive down the road. All right, enough talking. Let's see what the packaging looks like inside, and then we'll put this together and see what this bike offers. Okay, first impressions like we always do once we open the box. The first thing that stands out is I like these knobbies already. That's kind of cool. I mean, the packaging overall, though, looks pretty good. Oh, it's got some nice graphics on it, too. Okay. All this came out of the box without clipping and removing any of the zip strips. Again, because of being a lighter bike, it's a lot easier to get out of the box in this manner. And you can see that they've actually secured the handlebars really well. Usually the handlebars are kind of just placed in the box. If you have a need for wire ties, just make sure that you snip them on the correct end, and you can reuse them, obviously, because they're so long. Looks pretty standard. So what we're going to do is assemble the handlebars onto the neck. Looks like this is adjustable. That's nice. So we'll be able to adjust the handlebars up or down as needed. That's going to be a little bit different. A lot of the bikes do not do that. All right, so the box inside, this is what you can expect. You got the manual. It's going to help you with the assembly process. It tells you what the tools are that are in here. Of course, the manual for the battery charger. It's good to read to know, not all these have a real good BMS, and you don't want to overcharge your batteries. I think this is a 2 amp. Let's see. Yep, it's a 2 amp charger, which makes sense. And then you have your tools, the toolkit. So, and of course the pedals. Now the first thing you want to do, as far as the handlebar configuration, you're going to loosen the bolt that's underneath the cover. So I removed this cover And then once the cover was taken off, we can access this bolt. And the reason you want to access this bolt is you want to loosen this. You want to turn this stalk around to face the front. And then you want to line it all up with the frame and the forks and make sure it's straight, and then re-tighten it back down again. The reason being is this is for packaging. This is for shipping reasons they do this. But yeah, it's got to face forward. This does not face backwards. Here it is all together. Pretty sleek looking. No fenders on this one. Looks like they do have a rack option, so you could purchase a rack for the rear. And you can see it's an integrated battery, which is really nice. Not much for frills, I guess you could say. Of course, it does come with a bell on that. We'll show you that stuff here in a second. This thing's only got two colors, blue and gray. Even though the box indicates black, I only see that they offer two on their website. Again, the battery on this is a removable battery, can be charged in or out of the bike with the included 2 amp charger. It's a 48 volt, 13.6 amp hour. A lot of companies would round that up and actually call it a 14 amp hour. The speed on this one, a little questionable. We haven't ridden it yet. And they talk about how the assisted speed is actually 35 kilometers an hour. But the max speed is 40 to 45 kilometers an hour. Now, assisted means help. So either you're helping the motor with pedaling, or the motor's helping you with your pedaling. And I don't know how the assisted speed would be less than the max speed by almost 10 kilometers an hour. But that's what it says. So I'm assuming this will do 20. Even though this says 18, I'm assuming it'll do 20, but I might be wrong. I am a bigger guy, so we'll have to see how that works. The good news is with that little 500 watt motor, since the bike is lighter, it doesn't require a 750 watt motor. And guess what? It uses less battery. That's probably the best part about going with a smaller motor. That is an advantage that I never really considered until a few e-bikes ago that we had. We had a 500 watt motor and I was concerned, but what I didn't think about is, just like in this case, this little car here is lighter and it's got a 4-cylinder. It's not as powerful and it's no speed demon, but we go a pretty good distance on a gallon of gas versus, let's say, that vehicle over there that has, a couple turbos on it and it's a bigger engine, it's a heavier vehicle. Sure, it's got more power to haul, but it also uses up the gas quite a bit more. So it's kind of the same here. If you have a smaller motor on the bike, you're going to use less power. So even though you're a bigger person, that motor only is going to draw 500 watts. I love the tires. They're Shaoyang tires. We've seen these before. They're pretty popular. They're not a Kenda, but they are still fine. We haven't had any issues with them. I like the knobbies on them. That's kind of different. I will include the dimensions here in a photo just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. They say 5 foot. Maybe, I guess. We'll have to see how Heidi looks on this bike whenever she takes it out for a ride. Charging time on this one, it's fully dead, is about 5 hours. And you saw the package, what it has in it, basically the bicycle, the charger, there's a user manual and some tools. So let's get a little closer here. This does have a Shimano tourney. That is basically the entry level. It is a 7-speed. It's a finger activated. This does have a 3/4 twist throttle, because they're saying that it's 3/4 of the grip. Mechanical brakes. They are disc brakes though. Nice little bell. Could loosen that up. You can adjust that to make it ring more if you'd like. That's kind of nice that they do that. Simple, power on button here, plus or minus for that. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like when it's turned on. Oh, nice display. Kilometers an hour. I'll have to get in there into what they call the P settings to change that. Usually that's you pushing the plus and minus button for a couple seconds and a display will come up that says P. You just flip through there and change the setting. Okay, so this one has a light button on the side. It's tricky. I've never seen one like that before. But on the side here is the button for the light. The display dims and the headlight comes on. Pretty darn bright for a single LED. Downfall to this, but not a downfall, just a reflector in the back. Now the reason I say not a downfall, and the only reason I say that is Almost every bike that we have, regardless of how nice the lights are, we have auxiliary lights that we put on here. You want to be seen. You want something that draws attention when you're out on the road, and a rear light, it does a pretty good job. Some of these bikes that spend a lot of money to put a really nice a light on the back that's bright and a brake light still can't be seen from any distance, so you're still adding some sort of flashing light. So just let you know, don't depend on what the manufacturers are sending you. You'll see a lot of times I comment on the lights and how nice they are. Still, there's no doubt we would add an additional light to this. The other thing with this bike, which a lot of you probably aren't thinking about, those big e-bikes, those big heavy e-bikes, guess what? They hardly make any racks that go in the hitch of your car. They can handle them. And if you can find one, you're usually talking about $300 to $700 for a rack that will handle 2 big e-bikes. Here you have a smaller one that's only 57 pounds, 58 pounds at the most, that will allow you to use a standard bike rack. Perfect. Let you ride it and tell me what you think. I forgot to show on the camera though, as far as the battery removal, there is a key on the side.
Get over here.
For the battery removal, there is a key on the side. This is your charging port also. This is a power button also for the battery, tell you how much battery you have left in addition to what's on the display. But if you turn this, the battery pops out, you just lift it out. You don't need the key to put it back on though. So it's just, all that key does is just allow you to take the battery out. It's not needed to put it in or turn on the bike. So you can see Heidi definitely being a little shorter. She has no problem, I don't think, with this one. Oh, a little tippy-toed. Slightly.
But way more.
Yeah.
I can turn around up there.
Yeah, there is a dog laying in the yard up there. He has no interest in coming out or nothing. He's a big, lazy dog. Down there, you see him laying in the yard out by the sidewalk. So we'll get Heidi, take it for a ride. I liked it. I did 26 miles an hour on throttle only. Again, no rear light, so wow, that light is much brighter than I thought. Look at that. I mean, we're in the daylight. The sun is off to our right just a little bit. Look at it. And you can still see that light coming at us. I know the camera don't pick it up quite as well as I can see it, but that is way brighter than I thought. Look at that. She's trucking right along. Much quieter. This bike has a definite fit. There's going to be a lot of people, I think, that are going to want this bike. You know, we have a big cruiser bike and they're fun, they're comfortable, but it's kind of like driving my F350. You know, you've got to kind of just lumber along, and it's not nimble. There's something to be said about just hopping on a bike that's quick and nimble. Yeah, let's hear it, because I know what you're going to say.
It's a nice bike. The seat's something to be desired.
So if we replace the seat with something comfortable.
Yes, for sure. I could only do 25.
Yeah, but still.
But because I couldn't keep up with the pedaling.
I told you pedaling is slower.
Yeah.
You could do just throttle and get faster. Yeah, this thing is one of the few bikes that we've had that when you do the throttle, you actually go faster than if you're pedaling.
Yeah, we're in a little short distance here.
That light is bright.
Is it?
When you turned around down there, I could see it the whole way. So as far as a short person's thing, other than the seat.
Not bad. Not bad.
So,
you know, I'm 5'4". I would say,
Yeah, you're right at the tippy top.
Right at the,
Now, if I remove the reflector, the seat will go down even further.
yeah. I believe it's at 5'1". It's
Yeah.
the shortest.
So remove the reflector, the seat will go down further, and put a nicer seat on it.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Was it not quiet and smooth?
Oh, yeah.
And it's real
Very-
easy to turn. Is it? I mean, did you get all that
Very,
same
very
feeling?
quiet. Yeah. Same.
All right, so looks a little weird. I'd have to say, even from the pictures, I thought it looked a little weird. But
Yeah.
no, I say overall, this is a good deal. I like this one.
Yes.
The other disadvantage, no fenders. I don't know if they offer fenders. I don't remember seeing that. But again, links down in the description. Go to that link. There might be a discount code for you. Pick this thing up. And ENGWE, this is the third ENGWE we've had, and all three of them offer something very unique. And I'm going to say something about ENGWE. We have one bike that we've kept all along through 20 plus reviews, and it's an ENGWE. It's a folding ENGWE, and it's a full suspension folding bike. And the reason is because it has been the fastest, most comfortable, longest range that we've owned, with no modifications to it whatsoever.
Yeah, not even the seat.
Not even the seat. Now, with that said, the second ENGWE that we received and that we did a review on is something that I'm having a hard time getting away from. And what I mean is, I believe that's going to be the bike that is going to be mine. However, this one has a definite fit. I could see this one being a good bike for somebody who, again, for example, our son. Our son likes to ride mountain bikes, and he's gone I don't know how many miles, not mountain riding at all, just bike trails and like driving up to town. You know, he has no problem like riding his bike 6-8 miles to go into the town, but he at times wishes he had a little bit of power to help him along, you know, on some of the hills, because he's not an avid bicyclist. He just likes to travel on a bicycle. This is a perfect fit for that. All right, close it out.
As always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.